Hey, welcome back. This is episode 8. I just want to start off by saying that the last episode, to my standards, ended up getting some traction, some comments, and I can only assume it's because I said stuff about customer supplied parts. So I just want to let this be known. This channel is not supposed to be controversial and these type of things. I'm not looking for clickbait, rage posts, none of that stuff, okay? This channel is designed for shop owners and other technicians that are maybe thinking about taking the next step, all right? It's a public channel. I welcome anybody in here. If any consumer wants to come in and see how the sausage is made, I'd be more than happy to have discussions. But to go into the comments and start acting crazy and just being like disrespectful and stuff, that's not what this channel's for. So just keep that in mind, all right? I'm here to help anybody. I mean, I'm not a coach. I've only been taking the ownership seriously for 2 years. I told you in the last videos before that I had a shop before, but it was not something serious. Now I have employees responsible for people, those kinds of things. So, yeah, this is a positive place to be, all right? Touching on that, customer supplied parts, it seemed like most of the people that were upset about it or making comments were just assuming that shops are charging too much money for parts and you guys are gouging us, and that's why I want to buy my own stuff and bring it. The profit is the third reason why I don't allow it, all right? The first reason is liability. The second reason is be able to warranty the stuff, and then the third reason is for profit. If it was just profit, I would just raise my labor rate up to whatever I need to maintain my 60 to 65% gross profit target so I can pay all my bills and end up with net profit. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I can sell you parts at cost. My labor rate will just go up, and that's that easy. But it's not that easy. The way that the market works is that we have to be able to maintain some kind of a balance between parts and labor. And the parts markup for a shop that really knows what they're doing, in my opinion, it's huge, okay? And it's so I can be able to make a profit, be able to warranty the things, pay my bills, and really it's so I can control the entire process with the client. And I thought that was pretty evident. When we were talking about what happened with that Nissan Pathfinder and them allowing her to bring her own timing chains in, any random consumer probably should have known that if they wanted to charge, they must have been charging $3,000 for the parts, and you show up with a $70 part to put on the car, there's a drastic difference in something. And for a shop to allow that to happen, you are not taking care of the client, all right? It's just, that's the way I feel about it. Again, we as professionals, we have a duty to at least inform the client of what we're doing and why we're doing it. Ultimately, it's their car and it's their choice. They can choose not to do the repairs with you. That's okay, all right? There's an ass for every seat, all right? There's a shop for every customer, and it's fine. If you found a shop that you're happy with, talking to the consumer now, if you found a shop that you're happy with and they allow you to bring their own parts and you're happy and they're happy, there's nothing wrong with that, all right? For you, okay? And for them, apparently, until something goes wrong. It's been said before, you don't know how good a shop is until they make a mistake. That's what really matters. When I mess up a car, I damage something, I eat it, all right? That's what a good shop is supposed to do. And if you're not profitable enough to be able to do that, then you're not serving your clientele, all right? Enough of that. This is a spot of positivity, okay? I'm here to try to lend others a hand, give them a place to vent, and that kind of thing. Again, consumers are welcome. It's a public channel, all right? We can have friendly discussions. So back onto what this channel's for. This is a daily thing to show you what it's like to be in a shop. I want to touch on what we did yesterday. My tech was out again today, still sick. His kids are sick now, so that's kind of an issue. The Passat that we were waiting on for him to come in today, that obviously didn't happen. The car behind me on the lift, that's the job that was supposed to have been started yesterday. And I did end up checking it out, and it does need some more work, so I didn't perform anything until we talked to them about it. And they decided to purchase some more repairs that are needed and some other maintenance. They're in a loaner car, so that's, they have something to drive while it's here, so we're not pressed for time. The one car that was here that we were waiting on a coil for, it came in. It was a Chevy Cruze that was diagnosed as needing a coil. And this is the style of coil that all 4 cylinders are on one coil. And the way my tech diagnosed it, again, I'm leaving them alone. I kind of thought, I don't know how you could tell it was a coil issue because the scope wasn't out to be able to check each individual cylinder, right? And I don't think I even had the leads to be able to pull that coil out and then run jumper leads and then put an amp clamp on to be able to capture scope, or not an amp clamp, but an inductive pickup. And anyway, that car is a little bit hard to diagnose. It takes about 10 miles, has to be really hot, and it starts to misfire a little bit. So it's going to be a hard one to duplicate in the bay anyway. We put a coil on it, and after about 8 miles, I started feeling a little bit of a misfire. So I brought it back in. The customer declined putting spark plugs in it. They were new. I had Carfax reports showing that they were only about 20,000 miles old, but they're auto lights. And this is a Chevy Cruze. I am not a fan of doing that kind of stuff, right? Like Fords get Motorcraft, GM gets AC Delco. Honda and Toyota are going to get either Denzos or NGK, depending on which manufacturer made it for them from the factory. The auto lights were new. They looked good. I didn't see any cracks in the porcelain, so I allowed it to be done without spark plugs. Now, I just put spark plugs in it just to verify what was going on. The plan right now is to figure out what's wrong with the car and to then charge the customer appropriately, which means that I am not going to charge her for an ignition coil, okay? Because that didn't fix the car. So that's something I have to continue on. After the spark plugs are put in, I drove it about 7 miles and kind of drove it a little hard, and it may be fixed. The Avalon, the one that we talked about, and I showed you the PP draw, well, you saw in the video that it was only pulling about 19 milliamps, which is great. And I checked it about 4 or 5 times last night, and it was fine. So I wasn't really concerned about it having a draw. I just assumed that she had the door open again. But again, we're going to check it to make sure, because I don't want this car coming back ever, right? So I let the battery connected last night just to see what would happen. The PP draw connects with Bluetooth to your phone, so you can leave your phone and the PP draw plugged in overnight, plugged in on a charger, Bluetooth connected, and you'll be able to get that graph and then draw that stuff over, put it into a file, and do that kind of work I talked about. I couldn't get it to connect, so I'm like, well, I'll leave the battery connected, and at least that way, if it goes dead, we know I have a problem. If we don't, I still want to do another check where I can check it overnight. And it went dead, so we do have a problem. So that is going to have to get evaluated properly. Now, this is the second time it's coming back for a parasitic draw. So let me ask you guys, what would you do? Would you eat the entire evaluation until you come down to the problem? Now, it's an older car, so doing the draw on that probably won't be too bad. What I'm doing is I'm going to give her some time, right? Because I feel as though it was kind of a comeback. It's not really black and white. We have an intermittent draw, obviously. We fixed one draw. We verified for sure. So I'm going to give her some time, and I want to see if I can find out where this draw is. The Pathfinder with the timing chains, it is coming from the front bank right near the camshaft. I can't tell if it's the cam chain or the cam chain, the timing chain or the cam chain. It sounds to me like it's got a bad guide, but there's no way to tell until we start disassembly. So at minimum, valve covers, which is probably going to end up pulling a timing cover. For us to pull the covers off, it was like $990 for us to pull the front timing cover. And, it's like, and that's apart. That means that it leaves on a tow truck. So it's like for us to pull that apart, she declines repairs and put it back together again, it's going to be almost $2,000. And it's like, I don't know what else I can do for her. This is why we don't do customer supply parts. If it was done that way, we would have taken it apart, right? So, well, I wouldn't have, because I didn't sell the job that way. So she's declining it. She's thinking about getting another vehicle, which is a shame. Like someone to be forced into doing that. Overall, the truck's actually in really good shape. We did the DVI on it, and it's a pretty darn nice truck. It's got 175,000 miles on it, but it's in good shape. So it's sad. I only have one job on the schedule. When it came in on Monday and my tech was out, we knew to try to lighten the schedule on Wednesday to try to get caught up, so we're not in here trying to get out 8-9 cars on a Friday. So I only have one new car that's coming in for tomorrow, and then we'll be able to get caught up on the other work that's here. So that's it. It was a little bit of a stressful day. I knew that in order to pay bills, I had to bring another car in. Another car came in, first time customer with a Hyundai Accent, and he had a brake concern that was making noise. And from the visual inspection we did in the parking lot, which is not a true brake inspection, we could tell that the rotors are pretty scored up. And we told him this is how much it is for front pads and rotors when we get it apart. If there's any other issues, we're going to give you a call with an updated estimate. We did the DVI. The only thing that car actually needed was just a tire rotation to try to get some of the lumpy tires smoothed back out. So I proceeded with the brake work, and then he ended up purchasing the tire rotation while the wheels were off in the front, and then we reduced that down because we already had it off. So that was nice to be able to get that done. The other customer that came in today for the brakes, I don't know, tell me what I did wrong, right? When we did the last courtesy health checkup on this vehicle, the brakes, he had a brake inspection done at the same time. The brakes, the rotors were pretty scored up, but the pads were probably like 80%. So I told him, I said, like, I'm not, we can do brakes on it, right? Because there's either a deviation thickness or a run out problem. I think there was a run out problem. I think it had about 5 thousandths of run out. So I'm like, we can do that, but the pads are still safe and it's up to you. So he had this crazy noise and he calls up and says, I want to come in for those brakes because now they're making noise. And so we had the part sitting here on the shelf to be able to do that. And when it comes in, of course, we test drive the car before we pull it into the shop. And here it's his right front wheel bearing is making noise. So I was able to get a high quality bearing from Raleigh. My cutoff time for those parts is 10:30. So we were able to get that eval done early in the morning and got his car back to him same day. And then his tires are worse than what they were before, and they're pretty darn bad. So he's going to be coming back, and he wants to try to split it up into 2 tires every 2 weeks, which is okay because it needs them all. So we're going to do that and then do an alignment for him later. So I was able to get that done and get some revenue coming in. We were able to do the front pads and rotors and the tire rotation on the Hyundai, so we were able to get that done. And we did some more eval work on the car behind me. And overall, it was not a very good day. I mean, we're sitting pretty bad for the week. So I'm going to end up having to be in the shop this week to be able to, not totally lose. So short video. I just kind of wanted to get that out there. Just keep this stuff in the comments like professional, right? There's no reason that you would talk to anybody like that. This channel is a place for positivity. So if you're going to comment and express your opinion, I want you to. Just know you're talking to another human being, okay? And I'll be more than happy to have a discussion with you guys. All right. Till next time, guys.